mic down?
Yeah.
She's pretty loud.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she is.
Is that Connor? Or
Yeah, that was me.
No. Connor? No, Mike. I can't see. Shut up. Right. But, before I started, I kind of wanted to update on people on how I'm doing. I moved into my own apartment recently, and it's been really fun, but my friend watched my dog that I've had since I was like 14, 15 years old. Well, she lost it. But no. This is how my friend thought it'd be really good to make up for my lost dog. She got me a cat. but I could not have this cat because she fell in love with it. Until the fucking thing shit on your floor, huh? Well, she called me. She's like, "Do you still want that cat?" I'm like, "I didn't want the cat. You wanted to give me the cat because you lost my dog." And she's like, "Well, my mom says I have to get rid of the cat or I have to move out." And I'm like, "Have fun, pack your shit." And she's like, "Please." I'm like, so, okay, me being a good friend, loving, nurturing stuff, shit like that. I took this cat. Oh, I was about ready to give this cat back because the first night I had the cat, it peed on my Angelina Jolie poster. I called her, I was like, "Take your fucking pussy and get out of my house." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "It pissed on Angelina!" No. And then I set my alarm clock because I had to get up and go to class. And the fucking cat, the alarm clock goes off. This cat climbs up where my alarm clock is and knocks it over. Like, "Bitch, I'm not getting up for you." I was like, "Oh, see? Who the fuck names their cat Enchilada?" Who the fuck names your... let me tell you, if it was chicken, I'd be eating it. Who does that? Because she's like, "I heard you renamed the cat." I'm like, "Of course I'm not going to take it out in public and let it sprinkle. Your name's Enchilada?" What the hell was that bitch thinking? Hell yeah, I renamed it. It's not Enchilada.
What it is, Tom?
It's Pussycat. So, yeah, I hate that little cat, little tension horse. No, that's cat's going bye-bye. I'm gonna get a new dog. Ooh, I hate cats. But anyway, so I moved out. I got a cat that's the spawn of Satan. I lost my dog. I got a call one night, and this is probably the toughest thing that I went through is my best friend calls me, and she goes, "Dom, I love you, but I need you to turn on the news." I'm like, "I don't watch the news." She's like, "Turn on the news." So I turn on the news, and I'm watching, and I see that there's been an accident, that a girl died in a motorcycle accident. And I'm like, "Why does this have to do with me?" And she's like, "Dom, it was your sister." I'm like, "My sister?" Like, my sister's sister. She's like, "I'm so sorry that I had to tell you." I'm like, "You told me to watch the motherfucking news. Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, click. Yeah, that was really hard. But seeing everybody, it was probably one of the hardest things I ever dealt with. Being I've lost my grandmother and I've lost my uncle, but I've never lost, like, someone that close to me. And it was really hard. It took a lot of me not to be angry at people, and especially not her for telling me to watch the motherfucking news. But it was hard. It's been about a month now, but I'm glad that I finished college. I'm done. I took all my classes. I passed. I got my license, so I work in a hospital now. My boss is really intrigued to talk to me about it, because he figured, he's like, "You finally graduated school, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, then are you leaving?" I'm like, "Yeah, you knew this." And what was really funny is my last day, I am never, ever going to forget Fred Meyer, ever. Because my last day, our drag queens, because this was the greatest last day anybody could ever have. I got a call on the phone, and they're like, "Dom, we just seen this drag queen, and she took makeup." I'm like, "Yeah, so that's what drag queens do, right?" And they're like, "Well, she stuck it down her bra." And I was like, maybe she's testing it out. I don't know. And like, Dom. I'm like, God damn it, it's my last day. And they're like, Dom. I'm like, fine. So I'm waiting outside. And this lady leaves, and I'm like, security ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to come back with me. I'm sorry, but you're under arrest. She goes, I'm not fucking under arrest. Smack. I was like, did you just fucking slap me? No. And I was like, I was pissed. This was the funny part. She took off her wig and her high heels and started running down the street. I looked at my partner. I was like, hold this. And I did. I stripped down to I was in my tank top. I took my shoes off. I started chasing her. I get all the way down the block on Burnside, and I'm running across Burnside. Come back here! I was pissed as hell. We get all the way up by Stark Street, and I was like, ooh, I'm definitely going to get my ass kicked here. So I walk all the way back up to Fred Meyer. My boss is like, you look a little tired. I was like, don't you fucking start with me. He's like, did you get my makeup bag? And I was like, well, I'll show you makeup. And I give him his makeup bag, and I have the wig. I'm like, ooh. If I ever see a person carrying a drag queen with a blonde wig, oh my God, I'm going to kill somebody. But that was the greatest last day. Besides, the other thing that happened to me that day is I got beat up by a lady in the bathroom because I was supposedly a boy. And this is the greatest thing ever because this was like a lady that was probably about 80 years old. I walk into the bathroom and I'm looking around because we're required to check them. And I'm looking around, all of a sudden I look up and I look in the mirror and I see this look on this lady's face. It was like horror, like, oh my God. She turns around with her motherfucking purse and hits me in the head and started beating me with it, telling me, get out, you dirty boy. I was like, excuse me? And she started hitting me with the purse. She chased me to the produce aisle with cantaloupes where and started throwing strawberries at me. I was like, are you fucking serious? What the hell is with these people? And then she picked up a cantaloupe. I was like, don't you dare. And I looked at her, I was like, look at the cantaloupe, look at my tits, look at the cantaloupe. You see? And she's like, I'm so sorry, puts the cantaloupe down, walks away. Walks away. I was like, excuse me? Do you not see the indent in my forehead here? What? You put the cantaloupe down and you walk away? Excuse me, come here. I was mad, and I called my mom, and my mom started laughing. I was like, geez, Mom, I love you too. My mom's like, well, you know how we get. I'm like, see? That was the greatest last day of my life, because it was just really fabulous. It was great.
So I want to leave work too.
So should have punched an annoying customer.
Huh?
So should have punched an annoying customer.
I don't punch people. Of course not.
You should have gone overhead and said things in different languages. That's it.
Oh, I've tried that. There's this guy, like, seriously. He'd come up to me, I'd be standing outside, these customers, I'm sorry, but I really want to write one of those I Anonymous for the Mercuries, because these people tick me off. This guy comes up to me, he's like, your cart is blocking my way. I'm like, so move it. He's like, but that requires me to put down my bags. Oh my God! Put them down. He goes, but there's 5 other carts over here. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, yes, I'm writing this all down right now. I'm going to jump on it, okay? He goes, are you really? I'm like, hell no. And then I love the people that it says, attention customers, these carts lock, if you take them to a certain point. Well, there's this idiot still pushing the fucking cart, right? Well, there's this idiot person. He decides he wanted to get those big cases of water. He had 12 of them. Well, I told him, I was like, sir, that's going to lock. And he's like, no, it's not. And he goes, and the cart flips over, all the water busts out. And I was like, told your dumb ass, and I walked away. And he just looks at me, I was like, sorry. He's like, but I just paid for those. I'm like, sorry. Unfortunately, our policy doesn't require, us to refund people that are dumb. And he's like, what is your name? I'm like, Amy Gray. He's like, well, Amy Gray, I'm going to be calling your boss. I'm like, go ahead, because my boss don't know Amy Gray.